Pip, pip, tally-ho, Jules Guides here, in which I wander around London and tell you fascinating facts. And it's wonderful to be back with you again, isn't it, Simon?
It is indeed.
And little Lost Lou with us, joining us once again. And today, we're heading up towards King's Cross. But we're starting here just by Camden Road Station because we can, all right? And I'm feeling sorry for myself because we're heading into another lockdown. So we're going to head up that way, up Royal College Street. Let's go. Now, yeah, we're just outside the Albert pub here on the corner of Lime Street and Royal College Street. And the reason why I'm here, I mean, unfortunately it's closed, so we can't go for a drink, which would have been nice. But this kind of manhole cover here is I'm obsessed with London's underground rivers. And this is the River Fleet, which starts all the way up there in Hampstead Heath and comes all the way down here. And we're going to sort of be following its roots, kind of, today. If you put your ear to it, look, you can even see it. You can see the River Fleet trickling along down there, and you can smell it. Have you dug into the river? No. All right. No, all right. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't all explode. I think they've turned it into a sewer now. So,
It smells like it.
yeah, it's pretty gross. But,
Strong. It's clear. We're going to get along.
Copyright strike right now.
This is excellent. This is Royal College Street, and here, this number 8, this is where Arthur Rimbaud, the famous French poet, used to live with Paul Verlaine. In 1872, Verlaine left his wife and his son in order to move in with 17-year-old French poet Arthur Rimbaud, and apparently they were real hellraisers, and they used to head up to Soho, get completely wasted on absinthe and make a nuisance of themselves. Rimbaud was famous for saying that he wanted to become as scummy and disgusting as possible because that's what you had to do in order to become a poet. And so he did things like spiking his friends' drinks with sulfuric acid, not washing, and he even shat under his friend's pillow. Who hasn't done that? Come on. Anyway, they had a very tempestuous love affair, and one day Verlaine was coming back from Camden Market carrying a fish, like with his finger and thumb, like this, like looking a bit weird. And Rimbaud was looking out the window and he just took the piss of him for looking so stupid. So Verlaine stormed off to Belgium, and Rimbaud decided to follow him, where Verlaine shot him in the arm. Talking of Rimbaud, Simon's jacket is exactly the same one that Rimbaud wears, the Vietnam style.
At the donut then!
What I really like about this location is if you stand over there, Simon, let's come along here, keep it going, and if you stand down this street, this is where James Stewart comes down in when he's looking for Ambrose Chapel in The Man Who Knew Too Much, the Hitchcock film. James Stewart walks right down here like this. He heads down here and he goes down, I think, College Place over there to try and find the taxidermy place, which is interesting that the taxidermists is right around the corner from where the Royal Veterinary School is now. I don't know what they make of that. That's probably just coincidence. But for me, that's very pleasing because someone like James Stewart, you know, Jimmy Stewart, the big Hollywood film stuff, I mean, that's a million miles away from my life, and just to have him say Ambrose Chapel, Camden Town, and then to see Jimmy Stewart walking down this street, it's just so excellent.
And it was actually shot here, it wasn't like a set.
Yeah, no, it was here. You can definitely make out that building in the background, which is now a listed building, which is more than can be said for this building here, where the Camden Ripper killed several prostitutes. In fact, I think it was these bins here. In 2002, there was a homeless guy who was rummaging through some bins over here, and he found some human remains in the bins, and he reported it, and they discovered that it was a guy called Anthony Hardy living up there in this estate who had been murdering loads of women. He became known as the Camden Ripper. Now, but just behind me is St Pancras Hospital, which used to be part of the St Pancras Workhouse, where in fact Henry Croft, who invented pearly kings and queens, was born, and I think he died there as well. He started sewing these buttons onto his suit, and it's all something to do with charity. I talk all about it in my Brick Lane video where I meet a couple of pearly kings and queens. But the other thing that I find interesting about this is where Glyndwr Michael died. Now, back in the Second World War, Hitler had fortified Sicily, expecting an Allied attack there. So British intelligence decided, look, how can we trick Hitler into thinking we're not attacking in Sicily and we're going to attack in the Balkans? So they hatched this elaborate plan called Operation Mincemeat, in which they'd find a corpse and disguise him as a British officer, then throw him into the sea with loads of top secret fake documents on him, hoping that the German spies would find him. It's very sad. I mean, his mother died when he was young, his dad died when he was young, and he was a vagrant from Wales. And he ended up picking up some food in some old warehouses around here, and I think they'd been laced with rat poison, and so he ended up in the hospital here and he died, and they said let's use him, and then they filled his pockets with what they call pocket litter, and they sort of wrote letters from his girlfriend to him, and they concocted this whole new personality for this homeless guy, and they called him Captain William Martin, and they threw him into the sea, and the German spies did indeed get hold of his briefcase and all these fake documents, which completely fooled Hitler into moving his troops away from Sicily, allowing the Allies to invade. They even made a film about it called The Man Who Never Was. And he now has a grave in Huelva in Spain, which says Glyndwr Michael, who served his country as Captain William Martin, which I think was rather nice. This poor kind of forgotten homeless man who then became a war hero without even knowing it, and none of his family knew it either. And he died in there. Look at this, the crunch of golden leaves underfoot, conkers, jumpers for goalposts, the Michaelmas term, wet soggy socks slipping down your wellies. I love autumn, don't you, Simon?
Love it, mate.
So this is St Pancras New Church, and it's one of the most ancient sites of Christian worship in London. There's been a church here since around 300 AD when the Romans were here. Back in the 4th century, most of England was just pagan, so hadn't really become the official religion, Christianity, and so some of the Romans who were stationed here at the Brill garrison no doubt practiced Christianity. So. Look over here, this is fantastic. This is known as Hardy's tree. Thomas Hardy, who wrote The Mayor of Casterbridge, before he became a famous writer, he was an architect somewhere up there in the West End. And when they built the railway here to come from King's Cross all the way through here, the Great Northern Railway, I think it was, it cut straight through the graveyard, and all these dead bodies kept getting churned up and stuff. So Thomas Hardy was given the job of sorting it out. So he gathered up some of the tombstones and put them around this tree over here in a sort of monument. And now you can see that the tree is kind of grown around the tombstones. Look, Sir John Soane. Now, he built this tomb for his wife. So if you've been to the Soane's Museum, see my Lincoln's Inn Field video. Sir John Soane's Museum is amazing. It's his house filled with amazing artefacts and stuff that he's collected on his travels. But I think, first and foremost, he was an architect. But what's interesting about it is when Sir Giles Gilbert Scott designed the red famous telephone box, they say that he based it on this tomb here. Yeah, I think it's always got pineapples on top of them. I don't know, I think pineapples were supposed to be a sign of wealth or something like that. Yeah, Mary Wollstonecraft, the famous advocate of women's rights, is also buried in here, and she's the mother of Mary Shelley. And in fact, funnily enough, it was in here that she was visiting her mother's grave here when Percy Bysshe Shelley fell in love with her.
Must be her. This is her grave. I found it. So this is exactly where Mary Shelley would have been, going like this when Percy Bysshe Shelley walks up and says, "Oh, hello." What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
I mean, who chats someone up in a graveyard? That's got to be. I mean, it works.
It's like
Don't knock it. I mean, it
people
worked
have been
for 'em.
leaving little things and all sorts here for them.
Yeah.
And it's quite sweet, isn't it? Little tokens. Mary Shelley went on to write Frankenstein, didn't she? But look, Charles Dickens schoolmaster at Wellington House Academy, Hampstead Road.
That'll probably be in the next video. We're going to that place. He didn't like him. Charles Dickens didn't like this fella. It's really nice. You can walk out the back here, head over to this new development behind King's Cross Station, which is, I mean, when I was younger, it was just a complete wasteland around here. Do you remember?
Yeah, dude, warehouses.
Yeah. This is the Camley Street Natural Park, which is a beautiful sort of nature reserve, but normally, but for the moment they're redoing it all. But this is quite a new bridge. The whole area is completely new. It's amazing because when you watch The Lady Killers, you know, with Peter Sellers and Alec Guinness, it was brilliant. It was on the other day, and it's all around this, all that chase at the end of it, where all they're running away and trying to beat each other up. That's all around this area, around the back of King's Cross Station. Oh, this thing here. This is the a water tank. It's the only kind of building that in England that contains water like that. Most of them are, most water tanks are like on stilts. They're like a tank on stilts. Yeah. It was over there to I think it was to cool the steam locomotives or something. But then they moved it to here, which is nice. I'm glad they kept it. Amazing those, aren't they? Look, they're from 1870. The Gas, Light and Coke Company, holding the gas and stuff. I mean, not used anymore. They've turned them into flats. Imagine living in one of those. It'd be tremendous. You could walk here from Camden, where we started, near Camden Road. You could have just walked along the canal to here. It's beautiful. It makes such a difference on a beautiful day. It's a lovely place to come and hang out. Isn't this where, the Pogues are from, like, King's Cross, aren't they?
Well, Shane McGowan formed the band with the others in King's Cross, founded in King's Cross.
Are these the Gasworks walls?
No, you're in McCall Road.
I met my love by the Gasworks wall. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kiss my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. That building there is now part of St Martin's School of Art. I think it's the Central St Martin's. It's really beautiful. I wish I got to study in a place like that. I'm so jealous. A lot of the buildings around here were designed by Lewis Cubitt, who was a brother of Thomas Cubitt, who I went on about in my Pimlico video. You know how Thomas Cubitt designed a lot of Bloomsbury, a lot of Pimlico, and all those buildings around there? Well, they were a very talented family, and so he designed that one, I think. But I mean, it's completely changed from when I was young. Cafes, shops, all sorts, full of good-looking, young, trendy folk. Not bitter, resentful, long-suffering folk like me. I mean, look at up their side. These lovely kind of old ghost signs from, for example, the coal office. So in the 1850s, steam engines from up north would deliver coal to these sheds down here, and they'd be transferred onto horse and cart or onto canal barges to be delivered further on. Hence the name Coal Drops Yard.
Then it was Bagley's. Do you remember there used to be this like massive nightclub here?
Oh yeah,
like massive. That's where all the rave scene started. There's the church. Yeah.
Every Sunday, it was just full of Antipodeans.
It wasn't a nightclub, it was like a morning club.
Yeah, I know, but they used to say, I used to meet them and say, where are you going? They go, so I'm going to church. And I thought they actually were going to church. I thought it was really weird.
It's lovely in the summertime here. It's all this full of revellers and drinkers. There's these words that they only ever use on the news, things like revellers, boffins. Boffins, I only ever hear that word on the news. All right, thanks. Oh, what a lot of dogs today.
Hello, doggy.
See, hopefully the parrot's at home.
This is your...
I'm heading in. Oh my goodness.
Big camera coming in, John.
This is Jazzy. Jazzy, come say hello.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, you got him anyway. Yeah, Jazzy's been here since February. He arrived from a series of unsatisfactory homes, and then we adopted him, and we opened in 2011. We used to have to move every 2 weeks. Then 5 years ago, we got the mooring here.
I'll probably see you tomorrow again.
Started-
Oh, see you later.
See you later.
I watched Crocodile Dundee yesterday. He was the same age when he made that as I am now. It's just kind of like, oh my God.
Amazing, isn't it? He
And
looks so good.
He's 81 now, Paul Hogan. It's amazing. It's such a ridiculous film. It should be called An Australian Visits America. This is where they had a walkabout. And it was somewhere along, I think it was along here.
The walkabout was that the Star of Kings, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah, that's right.
Star-
They would just get drunk all day on a Sunday and then come down to Covent Garden to the other walkabout down there and get drunk for the rest of the day.
I used to think that was a really crazy thing to do, to get drunk in the morning, but now it's just normal.
Got to be careful not to fall in, but it's so beautiful here. Look, now the London Canal Museum is over there. Unfortunately, it's not open. But in 1850, a fellow called Carlo Gatti, his main business was delivering ice imported from Norway. And he was the one who popularised ice cream in England. So we're inside the Canal Museum over there. They've got this deep pit, I think, where you can see where they used to keep the ice.
Amazing, Julian. It's like a whole new town from when I used to live here. And the people who go to that art school over there, the new students, they would never know. They would actually just be prostitutes.
Yes,
Here.
quite famous for prostitutes. You know, when we were growing up, there was this graffiti on the wall that said DPP crawled here, because in 1991, Sir Alan Green, who was the Director of Public Prosecutions, he resigned after he was seen cavorting with prostitutes down here. This is where you can come and hire this space. Not that I ever do, but hey guys, subscribe to my channel. Yeah, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, because it really does make a big difference. If people see that I've got lots of subscribers, then they'll take notice of me, might even give me a job one day. And the other thing to remember, let's go this way, is please to follow me on Instagram at Jules Guides Official, because my old one got deleted, so at Jules Guides Official. Now, just over there is St Pancras International, where you will arrive if you take the Eurostar from Paris or Brussels. And just coming up here on the left is the German Gymnasium. Back in the 1860s, there were quite a lot of German immigrants in London, and they paid to have this gymnasium built so you could practice sword wielding, club swinging and all sorts of stuff. But unfortunately, around 1914, I believe it might have been part of the Trading with the Enemy Act, they ended up all having to move back to Germany, and they became less popular. So now it's a beautiful restaurant stroke bar. We're not going to carry on because it looks like we're getting moved by these security guards or something.
Do you have a permit? Because you're filming. This is all private property.
Oh, right, it's only a YouTube video.
Yeah, again, you need permission.
What, you can't even phone on your mobile phone down there?
No, you can do your mobile, but that's a professional camera.
What difference does it make?
It's private property, madam.
Yeah, but what's the difference between a mobile phone and that camera? I just wanted
Let
to
you know
know.
you're being recorded.
No, that's okay. I'm just
Okay,
asking you
that's
what the
cool.
difference is.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's down to...
Some nonsense about my camera being too professional, even though I've seen people with phones that take much better video than my camera. Anyway, I'll stop moaning. This, you see the Great Northern Hotel here? It was built in 1854, also by Lewis Cubitt, to accommodate the passengers arriving into King's Cross. You see how it's curved? Remember when we started, we saw the River Fleet? This hotel was built on a curve in order to run along the bank of the River Fleet. So it goes underneath here. Remarkable. It wasn't all that long ago that there was a river here.
That's crazy.
But not long after, the river got turned into a sewer, but they weren't. Yes, King's Cross Station, they say that Queen Boadicea is buried underneath one of the platforms here, platform 10 I think, but that could just be bollocks, and probably is. But it's called King's Cross because there used to be a statue of King George IV, you know, Hugh Laurie from Blackadder. There was a statue of him here at the crossroads in the 1830s, around then. Anyway, it only lasted for about 15 years or so because he wasn't very popular. So they knocked it down, but the name stuck, which is King's Cross. The cross where the king was. Lewis Cubitt, that bloke again, he designed this beautiful shed, which still remains. And don't forget to watch my Harry Potter film. I'm not going to go over it all over again, but of course you can go and have your photo taken entering platform 9 3/4 here, because this is where the Hogwarts Express leaves from. But you see that lighthouse over there? It's always been a bit of a mystery to everybody. Funny that no one really knows what it is. They say that there was some oyster shop there. Oysters were very popular, even for poor people, back in the 19th century, and they say that that's possibly was a gimmick to advertise the oyster company. So just behind me there, that's the Grand Midland Hotel, which was built in the 19th century, very beautiful, by George Gilbert Scott, who also did the church there in Stoke Newington. He did a lot of churches, Albert Memorial in Kensington Gardens, and that's built just on top of St Pancras International Station. They tried to knock it down, but John Betjeman, the poet laureate who went to my school, started a petition to save it, which is why there's a statue of him on the concourse staring up at the magnificent structure in there. But that's where Oscar Wilde hid out. You know, the Marquess of Queensberry accused Oscar Wilde of being opposing sodomites because he was having an affair with his son. He had sent out his thugs to go and find Oscar Wilde, and he was in there, but the owner of the hotel didn't like these thugs coming around, so he booted him out. But more important, that's where they filmed things like Batman, Harry Potter, you know, that's where the car flies over, see my Harry Potter film, but also a famous pop video. Yo, tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Oh, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Well, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig.
Oh, she's good at it.
She's excellent. Bravo. Hi. He recognised. Huh? He recognised me off my videos from YouTube.
So she watches them as well. Look at that.
Really?
Who's the bride? Which one's? Oh, it's you.
That's so
Happy
nice.
getting married.
Congratulations. Do you like having the Queen there looking at you?
She's very intense, but she's very glamorous, so we're channeling her.
Let me just film a bit.
Oh, the marital suite.
She's going to be having some fun in this thing later on. Wow, look at
I
that.
can't believe we've gate crashed someone's wedding. It's amazing.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good wedding.
Have a wonderful wedding. See where the clock tower is from here, down Argyle Street. You can see that now in the film The Lady Killers, that's where the house is. Now I don't think that's where the house really was, but in the film, when they look out the window of her house in The Lady Killers, you can see that view. So clearly this is where they intended it to be. And it's a lovely little bit here. They've got all these wonderful old characterful pubs, and look, an old street sign, WC. So because it doesn't have the numerical subdivision, so it's just Widbourne Street WC. See, that one says WC1. The ones that just say WC don't have the number on it means that they're from before 1917. So over 100 years old, that. Wonderful. Splendid. I wasn't talking about you. You're not over 100 years old. Cheers, Simon. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also have a look at some of my other videos. I've got lots of videos all about London. And don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, which is @JulesGuidesOfficial. See you next time. Cheers.